What is up, everyone? Reckless Fox here, and welcome to another review, Reckless review that is. And tonight we will be doing the much anticipated Justice League movie directed by Zack Snyder as well as Joss Whedon, because complications happen with Zack Snyder's personal life and stuff like that, but we won't get into the nitty gritty about that. Now, for those of y'all who are not aware, we do these reviews live on Twitch. So be sure to hit me up on Twitch whenever we go live and doing reviews. This movie, I must say, this was a good thing to come back to, because wow, after my last live review of the X-Men Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, I didn't think I was gonna watch another awful movie. I will go and watch Death Note again before I watch X-Men Apocalypse, because my god, this movie is straight trash. X-Men Apocalypse is worse than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Jean sucks, Storm sucks, Mystique sucks, everything about this movie sucks, and I cannot believe there are people who still like this series. Why does this dude look like Ivan Ooze? And I thought I was going to walk into watching an awful movie, and you know what? And I'm gonna say this right now, and this might be one of the most unpopular opinions about this movie, but I actually enjoyed the Justice League movie. Despite some of the things that happen with the post-production stuff, I fairly much enjoyed the Justice League movie. Now, I'm going to get into the reasons why in a minute, but let me give you guys a premise. So, after Superman dies, which we all know, anyone who's reading comic books, we know Superman doesn't really die, but it's a different story. Batman and Wonder Woman are trying to assemble the rest of the not Inhumans, the metahumans like Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash to fight Steppenwolf, who is trying to gain all the mother boxes to bring forth the destruction of Earth and the recreation of the the planet Apokolips, which is where Darkseid lives on. And that's pretty much the premise of the movie. There really is nothing much else to deal with other than the fact that, well, Batman and Wonder Woman are essentially leading the team, which we'll get into a little bit later. Let me give you all my positives about this movie. I really enjoyed the cast of the movie. I think Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Ray Fisher, my boy Jason Momoa, and Ezra Miller did very well in their respective characters. I think that they pretty much helped make the movie good, because there's a lot of things. There are not a lot of things, but there are quite a good majority of things that are wrong with this movie. But I will say it did not take away my enjoyment. I know a lot of y'all think I'm like some diehard Marvel fanboy, and some of y'all who listen to this, y'all know exactly who you are. I am not, okay? There are some things from Marvel I really don't like. I have not seen Thor Ragnarok as I am doing this live/recording of this review, so I will be seeing Ragnarok at some point. I just had to go see this movie first because I needed to know if the movie was going to suck. And I will say this, and this is my other positive, I will say, do not listen to the critics. Honestly, don't listen to them, because quite frankly, yes, again, there are some things that are wrong with this movie, but overall, this movie is very much enjoyable. I would say it is better than Batman vs Superman Suicide Squad, even though I still think Suicide Squad, for me, is a good movie, despite all its major flaws, and Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman being, just okay to, like, disappointing movies. This movie was way better than those three, okay? I will still say Wonder Woman's the best movie out of the bunch, though. I really enjoyed the cinematography. As always, Zack Snyder, if you give this man a cinematographer role, he will do his part, and the visuals of the movie are stunning. I enjoyed looking at the movie. It's an overall crisp-looking movie, and thank God, and this is my favorite one, this movie is not dark and gritty. I think the biggest problem for me when it comes to Batman vs Superman is the fact, and Man of Steel, you're essentially getting the darkest versions of the respective characters of Batman and Superman. With Man of Steel, and Batman vs Superman, you're getting Superman from the New 52 era of DC Comics. And any of y'all who are actual DC comic book fans or read comic books in general, y'all know that Superman the New 52 is like one of the most emo bastards on the face of the earth. This dude makes Anakin Skywalker look not so annoying. Like, it is baffling how bad Superman's character is portrayed in the New 52 versions of DC Comics. It's pretty bad, people. I'm not even gonna go into that because I know there's some diehard DC fans who probably do like New 52, but I honestly don't give a damn about them. And then with Batman, with Ben Affleck's version of Batman, you're getting Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns Batman, in which this dude will legit has no problems damn near murdering someone. So when it came to Batman vs Superman, when you put those two versions of the characters together and have them fight, you're gonna have a dark, brooding movie. You're gonna have Superman brooding like he's about to take a dump at some point, and then Ben Affleck, as much as I enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman, it's just it was all over the place for Batman vs Superman, and I don't know if Zack Snyder knew that or not, or just Warner Brothers just, you know, as always, butchering something that could have been potentially good. Hi, Suicide Squad. But when it comes to Justice League, you don't really see that, and I think it's because of the fact that Zack Snyder had stepped down from the project to take care of his family and stuff, and he had Joss Whedon finish the rest of the movie for him, which, you know, shout out to Joss Whedon. I think you can clearly tell that there are moments in the movie that you know were written by Joss Whedon, and a lot of it is the comedy elements of the movie, which, again, some of the comedy does work in this movie, some of it not so much. It kind of falls flat, but when it works, it works. Like, Flash and Aquaman's and Cyborg's reactions and stuff like that are always fun to watch. Like, especially Jason Momoa. I think Jason Momoa legit killed the role as Aquaman. I don't even like Aquaman that much. I think he's like one of the weakest characters in the Justice League for a lot of reasons. But again, diehard DC fans might lynch me, so I'm not even gonna go into that. I think Gal Gadot does very well as Wonder Woman, and I mean, I love the Wonder Woman movie. It's again the best DC movie, and that's not really saying much because it was by default the best DC movie because there really weren't not a lot of good DC movies at the time. But overall, I think she did well. I think when Henry Cavill came back, again, by the way, big time spoilers. So if you have not seen this movie, go watch it right now because there's gonna be some spoilers. They're gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be throwing at during this review. Anyways, so with Henry Cavill, I think Henry Cavill finally stops being all broody and mopey, and I'm happy about that. This dude finally cracks some smiles. This dude cracks some jokes. This is the Clark Kent and Superman that I'm like, this is what we needed. We don't need dark, brooding Superman. We don't, like, brother, crack a smile. You got some booty, and you ain't cracking a smile, bro. You're like, get out of here with that. Start cracking smiles, bro. Anyways, but I think he did well. Ezra Miller, you can't really complain about Esmeralda. Sorry, Ezra Miller as the Flash. He does a great job as Barry Allen, and you can see the emotion he puts into the role when it came to his scenes with Henry Allen, his dad, played by the same dude who played Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen. The choreography is really good. Cinematography is pretty damn good too. And well, the best part about the movie is the post credits. I think the post credits worked very well. And this is a spoiler. They actually do set the events that are going to happen in the Batman, and I think in Justice League Part 2, because there's going to be a Part 2, and likely or not, the Justice League will be fighting Darkseid because they're able to beat Steppenwolf with the help of Superman, which we'll get into in a minute. And likely or not, we will see Darkseid as the next character for Justice League 2 Electric Boogaloo. And likely or not, we'll probably get some more DC characters. We'll probably get Shazam in there, who's now been confirmed to be played by Zachary Levi, who was originally in Thor. And we'll probably see Green Lantern pop up at some point, Martian Manhunter. And maybe the Suicide Squad might help out. Who knows? If, you know, Suicide Squad 2 does do well, you might see them. Who knows? But I will get into now the negatives, because, of course, I have to, you know, hit this movie with some negatives. You can, and this is the big one. I'm gonna get the first one out the way. The biggest problem with the movie. You can clearly tell. I said this already. You can clearly tell that someone else was doing the movie after Zack Snyder left, because you can. There are scenes in the movie that either should not be in the movie, were supposed to be in the movie, or were just put in at the last minute. One of the big examples is the Flash's interaction with Batman when Bruce first meets Barry Allen. There was some additional scenes, and you can clearly tell because it does not fit the movie. You can clearly tell it was like filmed in a different way than Zack Snyder's original shot of it. And then they did do the "Can I keep this song? Can I keep this quote? Or can I keep this scene?" Also, it felt as if the movie was the editing itself, which is the biggest problem in the movie, is way too choppy. Like, it's not as crisp as it was in Wonder Woman. Like, you can clearly tell someone in the editing room was just chopping this stuff up like they were on freaking Food Network. I also think that another big problem is Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf being, the big baddie of the movie. I want more out of him because he felt like he was just there to be like the villain that brings the characters together. Like, you don't really see a lot of character development, which is fine, but the problem is, I say it's fine because of the fact that he escaped. He didn't die in the movie, which is it's just a good thing when it comes to a DC movie, because a lot of the characters like Zod and Doomsday and some of the characters of Suicide Squad who didn't make it, they all died, and they may not come back. But with Steppenwolf, you can clearly tell he could be back, considering the fact that he is Darkseid's general. So I am looking forward to seeing what they do with Steppenwolf later on. But for right now, I felt as if it felt a bit anticlimactic when it came to how they beat Steppenwolf. And I think that's a big problem. And the fact that you don't really hear much about Steppenwolf until like you get to the Amazons, where he gets to the Mother Box in Themyscira and then gets to the Mother Box in Atlantis. At no point do they ever rely on letting us know who Steppenwolf is, especially in Wonder Woman, since Wonder Woman's mama was talking about Ares and stuff, but at no point did she like, oh yeah, by the way, we fought this new god who is aligned with probably one of the biggest threats that our kind and Atlantis and the humans have ever even seen. And by the way, we may or may not worked with a couple of Green Lanterns and the Greek gods themselves, but that's a different story. At that point, I'm actually nitpicking. But I'm not nitpicking when it comes to the fact that the defeat of Steppenwolf is kind of anticlimactic. Another thing is, it felt as if that they really rushed through characters' expositions. Like, we don't really know much about Cyborg or Aquaman, and if you already know who these characters are in the comic books, then you won't have a problem. But as a moviegoer, you have to look at it through a moviegoer, you don't really get a lot of exposition for both these characters, other than the fact that Cyborg, looks like Cyborg, and Aquaman, is Jason Momoa, and girls' panties are getting wet. But that's a different story. But it just felt like character developments were very rushed, and I wish that Warner Brothers, because it's not really DC's fault, but Warner Brothers themselves, likely or not, saw that this movie was going to be a lot longer, so they're like, chop this up, get rid of this, and just keep this stuff, which is not a good idea. When it comes to something like this, you need as much character development as you can possibly get. And also, my other big problem is Superman, because we all know Superman was going to show up in this movie at some point, but the way they bring Superman back is kind of dumb. They use the Mother Box to bring him back, and I have no problem with it, but at the same time, I did not want Superman to be in this movie. I actually wanted the characters that we already have try their best to beat Steppenwolf, and like they probably do get the upper hand, and then he escapes. And considering the fact that in Batman vs Superman, at the end, they kind of set up that Superman was still alive when the Earth started to shake, when the dirt around Superman's coffin started to shake. They allude to the fact that Superman was still alive, but somehow, some way, they still have to bring him back to life with the Mother Box, Which also reminds me, why in the hell did Superman's body not decay? I understand, like, he's not a human, and Kryptonians probably, their decaying bodies probably decay in different ways, but at the same time, like, you could at least be a little bit skinny. You don't have to be all the way skinny like Sarah was at the during season 4 of Arrow when they brought her back, but that's a different story. I keep saying different story a lot. Y'all should start taking shots about that. But yeah, and then again, like we didn't really need Superman. I understand that Superman is the beacon of hope and is the reason why the Justice League even forms, because of his ideology and how to fight for truth and justice in the American way. I kind of want them to set up like Superman coming back later in the film. Like, the way they set it up was he fought the Justice League because he was still confused and not like, oh crap, I'm not alive, what the hell is going on? And they should have just had him like sit aside maybe until like the ending, or like it doesn't work but at the end credits they bring him back to life or something like that. Or what they should have done was Darkseid bring Superman back to life himself, or Steppenwolf, and bring him back to life, and he starts serving them. Like, there's a Elseworld story where Superman actually, instead of his pod going to Smallville, it actually ends up in Apocalypse, and Darkseid raises Superman as his own. If we could have alluded to that, I think that would have been a better story instead of this. Because, again, as much as I like the movie, it felt a bit like clunky here and there. And hopefully they do get this right. Again, in my humble opinion, this movie does not deserve all the hate, and I really wish critics would stop. Again, Man of Steel, Superman, Batman vs Superman, and Suicide Squad, completely understand. And if we're gonna go with the DC animated movies instead and not look at the cinematic universe, Killing Joke, worst movie ever made, but that's a different story. Overall, though, I would say Justice League was pretty much worth the money I spent. And I would probably want to go see this movie again. Yeah, again, it's not a perfect movie. There are problems with it, as I've already stated. But if you can look past that, and the fact that people will say that it's like a wannabe Avengers, which I will say kind of is, because, the Avengers spent a bunch of time building up other characters to their solo movies. I will say this. Justice League does do a good job giving people what they want. What they want is a superhero movie with some of their favorite characters in DC. That being Superman, Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman. Because, there's like a few people here and there that like Aquaman, that will like Jason Momoa's portrayal. Because Aquaman in this one is not a punk. He is not a wuss. He legit will choke you out if necessary. And I do like that. And I love Jason Momoa's performance as that portrayal of Aquaman. And I want to see more of this when the Aquaman solo movie comes out. And overall, I would give this movie a solid 7. I think the movie does well in certain parts. The chemistry between the cast is great, even though the story itself is kind of, your typical end of the world scenario where you have to assemble a team and stop the world from ending. The Justice League movie is essentially what Defenders is. It's a good episode that will lead into an amazing episode next week. With Defenders, they set up Daredevil Season 3, which you're going to be doing Born Again. With Justice League, they set up the Batman movie, and I think it's going to be like fire, straight fire. So overall, the movie gets a 7. The movie gets a 7 out of 10, and I would easily tell y'all, have an open mind. Go see the movie. Low expectations. Keep your expectations extremely low, and you will enjoy this movie. Also, there are some really, really cool hints in the movie. I'll run by them. Superman and Flash actually do race each other at some point, which is really, really cool. Cyborg does not look like the way he looks. He does not look like this at the end. At the end of the movie, he does look like Cyborg from the comic book, which I'm very excited about. There are a couple of other things. They actually allude to the fact that when Steppenwolf first came, the Atlanteans, the Amazons, the humans, and even the gods of Greece fought Steppenwolf. So you saw Zeus, you saw Artemis. Hell, at one point you do see a Green Lantern pop up. So this movie does allude to the fact that the Green Lantern Corps is somewhere in the DC Extended Universe. Where, I'm not sure. We'll probably get that answer sometime, someday, probably around 2019, 2020. We don't know. But I do like the subtle hints and Easter eggs that this movie is giving out, showing that DC is trying. And I think because of Wonder Woman, they are going to be looking into a different route on how they're going to do their movies. So I'm excited for that. I want to see more. I think, again, this movie is not bad. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got because I don't want to sound like a broken record. But anyways, thank you guys very much for listening. If you guys are new, please be sure to follow me here on YouTube. And also be sure to follow me on Twitter at TheRecklessFox. Follow me on twitch.tv/RecklessFox where I do my live reviews of movies and television shows. And don't forget to follow me and my boys on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/ScrubClubGaming where we do our weekly podcast on everything related to movies, video games, television, comic books, and geek culture just in general. And please be sure to follow our Facebook page at Facebook.com/ScrubClubGaming. Until then, guys, this is Reckless Fox. And as always, peace out, bless up, and keep on wrecking things $20 or less. And we'll see you on the next review. Deuces!